Okay. All right, and we are live on our side now as well. So it did go live right away, but that's all right.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic, presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. The Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, playing host tonight to round number 3 of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. Qualifications already underway here at the Tricky Triangle. Rodrigo Munoz going to be your quick timer so far this evening.
Munoz setting lap time 52.519 seconds. Pocono Raceway, one of the more unique venues that the Silver Crowns are going to visit this season. In fact, one of the more unique venues that any racetrack is going to visit. The longest, or one of the longest anyway, oval straightaways in the entire world belongs here to Pocono. Over, I think, 5,800 feet, something like that. So basically a mile long straightaway here, almost a mile long straightaway here at Pocono. 6 lanes wide and 3 uniquely different corners. Turn number 1, shaped like the old Trenton Speedway. Then you head down the Long Pond straightaway into the tunnel turn, modeled after the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then we will run down the short straightaway. Finally hit turn 3, modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. Mike McConville going to jump to the top of the speed charts here. 52.4 seconds flat. 55 1,000ths back going to be Derek Love. Rodrigo Munoz, Manuel Paredes, Tomas Lewandowski going to be your top 5 here in qualifications. So far, Wes Shire, Ryan Steele, Gonzalo Munoz, James Watson, and Wayne Hutchison will be your top 10. Over 34 cars, I believe it was, that are entered here tonight. So a couple of splits coming up for the iRacing Silver Crown Series. Tell you a little bit about the race this evening. 40 laps will be the scheduled distance. Will be a rolling start. 1 attempt at a green-white checkered is available as we see Jeffrey Stanton coming across the start-finish line, and that's going to wrap up qualifications here. We are just about time for the starting grid. New Jersey's Mike McConville is your pole winner this evening. 52.4 seconds the time for the number 10. Derek Love out of the Mid-South will be your runner-up, and he'll line up on the outside of row number 1. A couple of Chilean natives on row number 2, Rodrigo Munoz and Manuel Paredes. So the Chilean contingent watching here on YouTube got a whole bunch of reasons to cheer early on in this one. Tomas Lewandowski and Wes Shire in row number 3, a couple of New Yorkers there. Ryan Steele and Gonzalo Munoz in row number 4. Row 5 will have James Watson and Wayne Hutchison. Row number 6, Brian Elmore and Pablo Donoso. Row number 7 going to have Jeffrey Stanton and Nick Nebben. Brandon Buckberger, Laura Gerhardt on row number 8. All alone in row number 9 will be Tommy Toe. A little bit of a surprise there to see Buckberger starting as far back as he is here. Buckberger, you're currently your points leader, sitting on 437 markers. In 2 weeks, he's got 2 starts, 2 wins, 2 top 5s, an average start of 7th, and an average finish of 1st. So Buckberger's been able to get to the front and win races, but he's had to do it kind of the hard way here. Ryan Steele, Pablo Donoso, Manuel Paredes, and Tomas Lewandowski round out your top 5 in the point standings. 12 weeks is a long season, and you do have 4 drop weeks available as well. So a lot of fluctuation will be happening here in the point standings, and a bad night here at Pocono does not necessarily spell disaster for your season's efforts. Looking 6 through 10 in the points, that's going to be Derek Love, Kevin DeBello, Jeffrey Stanton, Mike McConville, and Wes Shire. I think with the exception of Kevin DeBello, everybody is in this top split race here this evening. And man, what a fantastic sight, seeing these cars roll off the starting grid here at the Tricky Triangle. See if we can't get a quick word in here with James Watson as we're going to get ready to go green here. And James, what are you thinking here as you run into a place like Pocono? 40 laps doesn't seem like a long time, but this place is just absolutely huge for these Silver Crown cars.
Yeah, and this track is such a pain in the butt oftentimes because you're dealing with such flat corners that it's really easy to have the car get tight on you. So you really got to watch your entry into the corner. Try not to kill the right front, and try not to kill the wall and kill yourself with how power happy these cars are. And not to mention that this being kind of a draft track, that you're gonna get packs and might get a big death pack, so you gotta keep your wits about you. Survive as best as you can.
All right, James, thank you very much here. Good luck this evening. And yeah, 40 laps, a long race here. The caution laps do count if the yellow flag were to wave. Drivers do not have a fast repair, so keeping things clean is going to be absolutely critically important. Field making their way off of turn number 4. Getting ready to see that green flag down the long front straightaway here. And race fans, as always, the first lap of Pocono is yours. Lap number one going to be in the books. Taking a look here at third place running Derek Love. He's going to be locked in a pretty good battle here with Ryan Steele. Steele looking to the inside. Love working that outside lane. We heard James Watson discussing on the parade lap about how you didn't want to cook the right front. We were just as much hearing that there were some pretty big right rear tire concerns as well here. Getting the power down just a little bit too hard, you can spin up that right rear tire and really put yourself in a bad position here. As top 5 cars have all settled in nose to tail, but we've got a fantastic battle brewing back here about the 6th position. Pablo Donoso leading James Watson, Wayne Hutchison, Thomas Lewandowski, Wes Shire through turn number 3. This corner is very flat, and you carry an absolute ton of speed down here, down this long front straightaway. I mean, you can see they're 2, almost 3 abreast, and there is plenty of racing room to work here early on at the Tricky Triangle. Pick up this fight for the 2nd position between Manuel Paredes and Derek Love. Good fight going on here. Love able to come around Paredes, and Ryan Steele now going to look to the inside as they approach turn number 3. They do get around here in a very big hurry. New best lap of the race just set by Pablo Donoso. He's tucked in the draft, running in the 6th position as race leader Mike McConville out to a pretty solid lead here over Derek Love. We'll call the gap about 9/10 of a second here as they make their way down towards the tunnel turn. This 2, 3, 4, 5 fight, it's going to be an interesting one to watch develop here. And the other big one that we're going to have to keep an eye on is Brandon Buckberger. He's up 4 spots from the drop of the green flag, as is Nick Nebben. Biggest mover on the racetrack, though, is Pablo Donoso running in the 6th position. We've got a gaggle of cars making their way off of turn number 3. This race gives a little bit of a throwback feel to it here. Back in 1981, during the first CART versus USAC split, yes, it happened twice, USAC was running a 500-mile IndyCar race here at the Pocono Raceway, and they couldn't get enough cars to fill the field. So they invited the upright Silver Crown cars to compete with the Indy cars. Check out the pictures online. The 1981 Van Scoy Diamond Mine 500. AJ Foyt's final career win in the IndyCars was a show, that is for sure. Interesting piece of Pocono's history as they celebrate 50 years of racing here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Seeing Brandon Buckberger come around, James Watson for the 10th position. Buckberger now up 5 spots. Nick Nebben got right around with him, and here comes Jeffrey Stanton looking to the inside of the 39 down the front straightaway. Brian Elmore in the 13 going to pull out of the draft. He's going to try to get inside of West Shire. We got a couple of good battles going on here in this kind of mid-pack range. It looks like Wayne Hutchison, Thomas Lewandowski battling for the 7th position. Hutchison on the outside in that purple number 7 machine. Once again, looking a little bit further up the racetrack here, it's a good fight between Ryan Steele and Manuel Paredes. That's going to be the fight for the 3rd position, and Rodrigo Munoz looking inside of Pablo Donoso off of turn 3. Munoz going to have to tuck back in line down the front stretch. Mike McConville doing a fantastic job of leading this field, being very consistent with his lap times. Holding on to a lead of right about 1 second still. Well, now the gap down to about a third of a second here. One of the things that we're finding is that you really can't get away from anybody in the draft here. What a spectacular throwback paint scheme on Mike McConville's number 10. Looks like an old Jeff Gordon Diet Pepsi paint scheme. We'll take the throwback there. So once again, your top 6 all lined up, and then you're going to have about 1 1/4 seconds back to Thomas Lewandowski in the 7th position. Going to see lap number 8 go up on the scoreboard here, and so far it's been clean and green as we hit the 1/5 distance mark. Pablo Donoso once again setting a fastest lap of the race that last time by, 52.93 seconds. That Cristal number 4. Can't miss that car out on the racetrack, and Donoso giving a fantastic run tonight. Checking into the comments here, see our buddy Robert Kreiser checking in, saying hello. Good evening, Mr. Kreiser. Hope you are doing well this evening. Hugo G saying, let's go Chilean drivers. Hunter Layton asking, how do I go from Oval B to A? I've met my requirements. The entire process you can find on the iRacing members site, and you basically, once you've met all the requirements, you still have to have I think a 4.0 license for iRacing to give you the bump, and it may not even give you that from B to A. It may be something that happens at the end of the season. Once you start getting that high in the license categories, the bumps don't happen quite as frequently. Top 6 cars separating themselves out from 7th place running Thomas Lewandowski and the rest of the field. It's basically 2 packs, and you almost wonder if Lewandowski in that second group back is in a little bit of a conservation mode here. Fuel will not be a concern, but tires absolutely will be. Seeing potentially trouble on the racetrack. We've got a great battle here at the front of the field. Big trouble for Nick Nebben. Wow, big slide there for Nebben. And we've got a dogfight going on at the front of the field as well here. Mike McConville, Derek Love, Manuel Paredes, Pablo Donoso, Ryan Steele. How about 4 cars within a half second of each other? 3 wide down the front straightaway. Donoso all the way down to the inside. He's not going to be afraid to make this big aggressive move. Paredes holding on to second. Donoso has to slot back in the 5th position. Things are starting to get hot and heavy here as we work lap number 11. 53-second lap times. Already at the 1/4 distance mark, and we're only 13 minutes into this race. Stanoso is going to swing to the inside of Derek Love. Trying to get the pass completed off at 2. Not enough horsepower on the inside, but great drag there into turn number 3. Donoso is going to claim that spot on the entry to the corner. Sliding back here, picking up this good battle for the 7th position as well, with Thomas Lewandowski, Jeffrey Stanton, Wayne Hutchison, Brandon Buckberger all dueling. Hutchison looking to the inside of Stanton into turn number 1. Lewandowski going to be able to hold on to the 7th spot as they head down the Long Pond straightaway. Hutchison has to fall back in line. Shows you how big the effect of the draft is on these race cars. This fight going on about 1 1/4 seconds back of Rodrigo Munoz, who runs in the 6th position. So now with lap number 13 on the board here, Manuel Paredes within 1/10 of a second of Mike McConville for the race lead, and he's brought Ryan Steele and Pablo Donoso along for the party. Really tight battle here at the front of the field. Everybody's sticking in line. No real reason yet to jeopardize the equipment at all, but the interesting part of this here is we're only seeing lap times dropping off by about 1/4 of a second. McConville's fastest lap time is a 53.1 seconds. His last lap time, 53.35 seconds. Going on board here with Ryan Steele. Let's take a look and a listen here as he rides his way around Pocono. These cars will get up around 8,200 RPMs, and pretty interesting to hear Ryan Steele, how much he was backing off, especially down the straightaway. That's a pretty big conservation move there, and not getting yourself into a bad spot too early in this race. Top 5 once again settling back in. 6th place, Rodrigo Munoz. Starting to catch up a little bit here, but he's not gaining a ton of ground. Sitting right about 1 second back of the race leader. Seeing that 5 machine of Paredes looking up to the outside a little bit through turns 1 and 2. As the tires start to wear, the car will develop a push, and you really got to make the outside lane work for you. McConville's pace has been pretty steady. Taking a look at the corner apex speeds here, McConville carrying the most speed of anybody on the racetrack except for Thomas Lewandowski. Everybody else, though, within a couple of a mile an hour at the midpoint of turn number 2, and we're seeing kind of the same thing working here in turn number 3 as well. Seeing Nick Nebben heading down to the pit road. Taking a look at the top speed numbers, they're almost 200 miles an hour in these Silver Crown cars. To think they did this in the real world, too, is just absolutely insane. Pulling 2 bills in a car, open cockpit, open roll cage car is just mind-blowing to think about here. Taking a look at some of the comers and goers tonight, Pablo Donoso is your hard charger of the race thus far, up 8 spots to run in the 4th position. Brandon Buckberger is up 6 to 9th. Jeffrey Stanton up 5th to the 8th position. The biggest drop so far is actually Wes Shire, who's down 5 spots to the 11th position. So we've got a battle for the lead. Paredes looking inside of McConville into turn number 1, and he's going to get some drafting help from Ryan Steele as we approach the halfway point. Two by two. Down the Long Pond straightaway into turn number 2. Cross over the tunnel. The sign says, "Welcome to Doc's Place." As you come underneath the tunnel into the Pocono Raceway. Doctors Joseph and Rose Mattioli building the Pocono Raceway back in the late 1960s. Opening things up with an IndyCar race won by Pennsylvania's, well, the team anyway. Pennsylvania's own Team Penske, Roger Penske, claiming the win here at Pocono with Mark Donohue at the wheel. Absolutely epic IndyCars back here in the early 1970s. Tonight it's going to be a little bit of a throwback as well here with the CNR chassied Silver Crown cars. Oh, big moment off of turn number 2 for Manuel Paredes and Ryan Steele. Hugo Morales checking in, saying some bold moves very early in the race. Good to see Donoso and Paredes fighting for the lead. Javiera Gonzalez says, "Go Pablo." Yeah, thanks for the pickup there, Connor. We had a little bit of a freeze up on things on our end over here, but yeah, good fight here throughout the field as the 5'11" Dovsky trying to shake the cars of Brandon Buckberger and Pablo Donoso behind him. What a fantastic drive so far for Brandon Buckberger. Working his way right back up to the front of the field here, up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag. A very, very impressive drive here out of Brandon Buckberger so far this evening. Working lap 25, it'll be 15 to go next time by the flag stand. After leading the majority, the first half of the race, in fact, the entire first half, the pass coming just a couple of laps ago, Ryan Steele going to be your new race leader. He's going to hope to lead the second half of this one as Steele, McConville, and Manuel Paredes all trying to break away. And so far, they're having a pretty good run at it here. The side-by-side battle between Pablo Donoso and Brandon Buckberger has allowed these top 3 cars to break away. And just as we say that, Paredes is going to look to the inside of McConville into 2. You wonder if Mike McConville may have lost the handle of that number 10 machine. Oh, big tank slapper there on corner entry. That's going to let Manuel Paredes come past. McConville right up on the tail tank, though. Maybe a little bump drafting down the front straightaway here. The front end of these cars is shaped like a snowplow almost. However, at the back end, it is a very defined point. And if you're going to try to bump draft, you better get it right or you're going to cause a huge mess. Man, see if we can get a shot on board here with Mike McConville. He is fighting that race car in a huge way. Look at that. Ask and ye shall receive. We'll ride along here with Mike McConville. You'll see the hands. Yeah, you see the back end of the car starting to wiggle out just a little bit. See the hands sawing on the wheel just to the bottom left of the shot as well. Man, Mike McConville really fighting an ill-handling race car right now. Able to hold on to second, though, but it's allowed Ryan Steele to check out to about a 0.5 of a second lead as we head back to turn 1. 28 of 40 laps now on the scoreboard. McConville and Paredes almost banging wheels off of turn number 2. That's going to open the door for Thomas Lewandowski to come around to the outside. Lewandowski's going to keep the car wound up on the outside, but it's going to be a challenge here because Paredes is going to get the better drive off the corner. What was a 10-car battle for the race lead is back down to 6. As Wayne Hutchison, Derek Love, Jeffrey Stanton, Rodrigo Munoz now back by, we'll call it about a 2.5 from 6th place, Pablo Donoso. So we see Ryan Steele trying to break the draft down the Long Pond straightaway. Paredes almost getting into Buckberger. Here comes Donoso. He's going to sail it wide into the inside. What a pass by Pablo Donoso. Really aggressive. Spotting the mistake out of Manuel Paredes. Pablo Donoso going to move himself up another spot. He's up 7. Ryan Steele, your race leader's up 6, but don't count out Brandon Buckberger. The only question now is, did he use up his stuff in the process? Fastest lap last time by belonged to Mike McConville in the 2nd position, who is now right back up on the tail tank of race leader Ryan Steele. 53.404 seconds for McConville. 53.7 the lap time for Ryan Steele. 10 to go next time by. Clean and green thus far here at the Pocono Raceway. So far, only one car out of the race. That's Nick Nevin. He will finish in the 17th position. Nobody going to be in danger of going a lap down either. With lap times in the 53-second range, James Watson running in 16th, about 14 and a half seconds back of the race leaders. So a caution flag going to bring everybody back together here in a hurry. The question is, do we see the caution flag come? Best lap of the race belongs to Pablo Donoso, one of only two drivers in the field in the 52-second bracket, 52.933 seconds. Brandon Buckberger was quickest last time around at a 53.3. These drivers are not far off of ultimate pace for the car here around the Pocono Raceway. Even down to just 10 laps to go here. As they work their way through turn number 3, it'll be 9 to go this next time by. Battle for the 5th position going to be Pablo Donoso, Manuel Paredes. Donoso giving the spot back up to Paredes, but gets a little bit more wind up in that number 4 around the outside of turn number 1. Paredes going to have to slot back in line, and things starting to heat up here towards the front as well. Two good fights, and we mentioned that we had a 10-car battle here not too long ago. It became a 6-car battle. Now we're down to a 4-car fight for the race lead between Ryan Steele, Mike McConville, Thomas Lewandowski, and Brandon Buckberger. These 4 cars breaking away and trying to put some distance here on Paredes and Donoso. The problem is, as soon as they start to fight for the win, the rest of these cars are going to catch back up. So long as the top 3 stay nose to tail like this, they could even start to gap out Brandon Buckberger as well, but they split off around the tunnel turn, and Steele and McConville, the only two that are really going to be nose to tail, as Buckberger looks to the inside of Lewandowski through 3. Oh, McConville's up into the wall. Trouble for Mike McConville. He's going to go around down the front straightaway. Caution flag is out. Oh, what a heartbreaker for Mike McConville. And we are under caution with what will be 5 laps to go. Taking a look at the Hot Shoe Race replay, McConville just gets a little bit of a push, and unfortunately for him, that car goes up and around, bounces around. Not a real friendly way to end up your night, and what was an absolutely outstanding performance for Mike McConville is unfortunately going to end up on pit road and out of the race. Things are going to start to get spicy here in the Pocono Mountains. At one time, the honeymoon capital of the United States, basically, because when you couldn't fly everywhere, you drove to the Pocono Mountains out of New York and Philadelphia. Something tells me there will not be a whole lot of love going around here, unless it's going to be Derek Love making a big move here from the 8th position. See a couple of cars coming down pit road here. Laura Gerhardt, Tommy Toe, James Watson making their way down the pit area. I would imagine these cars are going to take right side tires if they take any, but more importantly, they're going to take fuel. Maybe a little bit of repair work as we see some damage there to the 39 of James Watson as he heads back out on the racetrack. Seeing McConville checking in the comments here. Frustrated, saying his car was so good. Yeah, that number 10 machine was an absolute rocket ship tonight. But unfortunately, it's going to finish in the 16th position. Potential early championship implications as well here is Brandon Buckberger is now going to have a pretty realistic shot at a race win here. Ryan Steele is your race leader, currently running second in points. Pablo Donoso entered the night third in points. He runs in the 5th position. Manuel Paredes, Thomas Lewandowski, your top 5. All of those drivers currently sitting inside the top 5 in points. This is going to be an absolutely spectacular run, and quite frankly, the kind of race that a driver may have looked at as a potential drop week, just by being consistent in how you set the car up and in how you turn your laps here at Pocono, really going to be a pretty good chance to earn some big points here, because this is a very, very strong field. iRatings all, the licenses are all A 4.9 and above, and the iRating in this field is absolutely stacked. 3688 is the iRating average on this field. Pretty impressive run here, and no slouches in this field, that's for sure. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car. 5 to go this time by. It'll be 4 to go when we come back to see the green flag here in just about half a lap or so. Let us know, race fans. Check in the comments. Where you watching from? Who's your pick to win it? Is it going to be Ryan Steele? Will he hold on here after taking the lead from Mike McConville? Can Thomas Lewandowski gain the 1 position he needs? Does Brandon Buckberger gain the 2 and come from the deep in the pack to gain 14 spots to challenge for the race win? One of our South American drivers, Pablo Donoso, Manuel Paredes, Rodrigo Munoz, Gonzalo Munoz. Do any of those drivers have a shot here? You let us know what you're thinking. I'm thinking this one's going to be pretty spectacular here as we get down to just 4 laps to go when the iRacing safety car hits pit road. Off of turn number 4, pace car's in, and quickly to the loud pedal is Ryan Steele. Gonna try to get away from everybody here. Inside of 4 laps to go. Lewandowski and Buckberger going to stay right nose to tail. They're going to have to get in the draft if they want to catch Ryan Steele here late in this race. And we still have a shot at a green-white checkered finish should the caution flag come out one more time. Lewandowski now right about 1/10 of a second back of race leader Ryan Steele. Brandon Buckberger, another 10th and a half back in third. Little bit of a bobble there out of the race leader. Lewandowski looks to the inside. They'll drag race down to turn number 1. Great battle into turn number 1. 3 laps remaining. New race leader Thomas Lewandowski off of 1. 2 by 2. They're going to head down the Long Pond straightaway. Manuel Paredes, Jeffrey Stanton also side by side. They're going to catch this foursome You know this is going to come down to a 3-wide move at some point here. Brandon Buckberger to the inside of that second row. Off the corner, Thomas Lewandowski's going to have the race lead. Who's it going to be at the line, though? Thomas Lewandowski, your race leader with 2 to go. Steele and Buckberger going to battle side by side off of turn number 1. Lewandowski not able to gain any ground. In fact, it's less than a tenth of a second. Here comes Steele fighting back to the outside. They're still 2 by 2 as they hit the tunnel turn. And the party is on now. Jeffrey Stanton closing in a big-time hurry. He's bringing Wayne Hutchison and Pablo Donoso with him. This 4-car fight may be 6, 7, even 8 cars by the time we get around to complete the white flag lap. White flag's in the air. 1 to go. Steele and Lewandowski still side by side for the race win into 1. Lewandowski slides up the racetrack just a little bit. That's going to open the door for Brandon Buckberger. Does he get the big run down the Long Pond straightaway? Still 2 by 2. Through turn 2 for the final time. One more shot at it. Little bit of a wiggle to the outside by Ryan Steele, but he's going to fight back into turn number 3. Here comes Jeffrey Stanton looking to the outside from 5th. Off of turn number 3. Drag race to the line. What a finish this one's going to be. Who's going to get it? Lewandowski at the line. What a finish. How about 5 cars within a quarter of a second at the finish? Absolutely incredible stuff here at Pocono. And Thomas Lewandowski claims the win. Holy cow, what a spectacular finish that was. Thomas Lewandowski claiming the win over Ryan Steele, Manuel Paredes, Brandon Buckberger, and Jeffrey Stanton, your top 5. Wayne Hutchison, Pablo Donoso, Derek Love, Rodrigo Munoz, and Wes Shire will round out your top 10. 11 to 15, Brian Elmore, Laura Gerhardt, James Watson, Gonzalo Munoz, and Tommy Toe. All of those cars, with the exception of Toe, finishing on the lead lap. Mike McConville finishing 1 lap down in 16th. Nick Nebben, 21 laps in arrears. Oh, man, what an absolutely incredible racing. We've got Ryan Steele, your runner-up here. This race, Ryan, was pretty formulaic throughout most of it. Get in line, run towards the front, and then all hell seemed to break loose there after that last restart.
Yeah, I don't know what to say necessarily. That last restart, I knew they were going to get back to me, and I screwed up a little bit too much coming off of 3, and that allowed Thomas to get to my inside. And then after that, I just wasn't able to get back in front of him at the point where it counts, at the start-finish line. Yeah, I feel a little bit bummed I couldn't get there.
I tell you what, the race was pretty spectacular, and I'm a little bit surprised here that we saw the kind of racing we did here at Pocono with how clean everything was. I was ready for bump drafting and cars that were really out of shape. How did the car feel? Did you have to make a lot of big swing adjustments at it over the course of the race?
Only for one turn, and even then it wasn't a big swing. I just went -4 on the weight jacker for turn 2 just to make it looser, but just for that turn. And then the rest of the time I had to just kind of tolerate it, because it would be, for both 1 and 3, it would be tight on entry and then loose on exit. And even if you have the buttons on your wheel, you're not going to be able to press the buttons fast enough to make an adjustment. So you just kind of had to tolerate it for those turns.
Well, I tell you what, Ryan, an absolutely fantastic race here. Congratulations on a well-earned podium finish here tonight. Who would you like to thank?
I got to thank Wayne Hutchison for putting in the time and making setups that make this car go around. I imagine a pretty big chunk of the field was using this app. So everybody owes him thanks. And I thank you guys for covering this race.
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you very much, bud. Good luck. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week. And I tell you what, that was just an absolutely fantastic race here. Let's see if we can't get a word in here with Brandon Buckberger here, coming home in the 4th position. And Brandon, what was your view like of that last couple of laps after the restart?
It was pretty nuts. I'm surprised I was even up there after starting way back there. I don't know. I just qualified like junk this week.
Yeah, that was one. I mean, it was an impressive drive to get up 11 spots to finish in the 4th position. And the car had to have been pretty good in race trim, even if it may have been lacking a little bit of pacing in qualifying trim.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so off in qualifying, but once I got in the draft, I felt like I was better than in turn 2 than everyone. I could get a run off of, bottom of 1 and just cut. That seemed how I passed everybody, was just getting them going into 2, just getting down there, because it's only one groove, and 2, like 1, you can be side by side, and kind of a little bit in 3 as well. And then like at the end there, when we were just 2 by 2, I was trying to push Thomas as much as I could there, and I think he just struggled a little bit more in 2 and just couldn't quite clear Ryan there, because I was going to try to get a run on him as well.
That was probably the most frustrating thing, that what we were seeing out of the second row, the fact that you were right there, but you needed help to get that pass completed.
Yeah, everyone's about the same speed too, so you just need to get a run, and like draft is huge here, and it's really hard. Like, unless you get a really good run, you're gonna have to rely on someone to push you. And like, I've worked with Thomas for years. We both know how to race each other, and I think we both know how to push each other well in those situations. And that, like, at one point, I think him and I were like 2 or 3 seconds behind the lead pack, and we caught up after about 3 or 4 laps.
Well, once again, just an absolutely fantastic run for you here to get inside the top 5 and be in the hard charge of the race, up 11 spots here, bud. Who do you want to thank?
Vinny Sansone, him and I have been working on some setup stuff this year, and he's been off running the dirt stuff, and I've been trying to see what it does here in race trim for every week, and it seems like we've got a good handle on it. We just gotta get a little bit more to get that win.
All right, bud. Well, hopefully we're talking to you again up here on the podium here next week, and good luck the rest of this season as well.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
Man, what an absolutely fantastic race here from the Pocono Raceway this evening. Unfortunately, we don't have our race winner, Thomas Lewandowski, or our third place finisher, Manuel Paredes, available for interviews this evening. But, man, just what an absolutely incredible finish to that race here this evening. Thomas Lewandowski taking the win by 4/100ths of a second. And a total of 0.2 of a second separated 5th place Jeffrey Stanton from a victory here this evening. But with that, we're going to wrap up our coverage here on the National Racing Network of the Silver Crown Cup. A lot of racing action coming up this week, including tomorrow night, a doubleheader of the Sprint Car Cup Series. Also, the Carolina Simworks TNT PM18 All Oval Series. Wednesday night, the greatest train wreck in iRacing returns. The TNT Special Events Series is coming back here to Pocono for Slocano. 20 of each of the 3 slowest cars on the iRacing platform. The Jetta TDIs, Spec Miatas, Formula V cars are going to be running in it as well, I think. Just an absolute mess of a slow pack race. Going to be pretty hilarious to watch. Hopefully you'll enjoy that one. Thursday night, we're back with a doubleheader once again of iRacing content, this time with the Ezra IndyCar Series. Once again, back here at Pocono. A lot of racing at Pocono here this week. Followed by the Indy Pro 2000 Official Series. Those guys are at Phoenix this week, so expect some oval interlopers, and I'm fairly certain Jason Owens will be making an appearance in that broadcast as well. Coming up on Friday night, another doubleheader of racing action. This time all live real-world racing action, radio style from the Linda Speedway, Jonestown, Pennsylvania, and live video coverage from Snydersville Raceway up in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Coming up on Saturday, we've been hyping this for months, the DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic. A lot of fun and frivolity, and that one has about as much chance of being a dumpster fire as the TNT race on Wednesday. So, whole lot of party and fun coming up this week here on the National Racing Network. You don't want to miss any of it. Fantastic debut performance for Connor Baldwin tonight at the controls. And for everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow night with the Sprint Cars. Have a good night, everybody.